Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
The passing of a pope, new at noon, the world's reaction to the death of Pope Francis, and what's next for the Catholic Church.
And here in Raleigh, we are live at Sacred Heart Church, where Catholics are gathering for their first Mass since hearing this news.
And tomorrow is a WRAL weather alert day. I'll walk you through the 6 hours that we could see storms roll through coming up.
Give this live look at St. Peter's Square right now at the Vatican, where Catholics have gathered for fellowship as the world grieves the loss of Pope Francis. Good afternoon to you. That word came out very early this morning, likely the first thing you saw pop up on your phone. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Renee Chu. Thanks for joining us. Pope Francis died around 1:30 this morning Eastern Time.
We also have new information about his arrangements coming in just the last few hours. After the final rite of ascertainment of death, Pope Francis will be placed in a coffin about 2 hours from now after a series of last rites. He requested a simple wooden casket. Pope Francis also asked to be laid to rest in Rome's St. Mary Major Basilica instead of in the crypt of St. Peter's Basilica.
And here in the WRAL Live Center, we are tracking leaders across the world paying tribute to Pope Francis. President Trump writing on Truth Social, rest in peace. May God bless him and all who loved him. Also, in the last 25 minutes or so, he also posted this as a mark of respect for the memory of His Holiness. He is going to tell everybody they need to fly their flags at half-staff at the White House, as well as military bases and other buildings across the country today. We're also hearing from Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum. She posted this to X, writing, "It was a great honor and privilege to know the Pope, calling him a humanist who stood for the poor, peace, and equality." Also, the president of Brazil also saying Francis always stood by those who need it the most, the poor, the refugees, the young, the elderly, and the victims of wars and all forms of prejudice.
Some Catholics here in Raleigh are marking the Pope's passing by attending a noon Mass that will surely speak to the Pope's life and legacy.
WRAL Sean Gallagher is live outside Sacred Heart Church for us this noon. Sean.
Yeah, Jeff and Renee, they're expecting to have a Mass here where they acknowledge the Pope's passing when Bishop Luis Zarama has his homily here at Sacred Heart. Now, it's set to take place here in just about 10 minutes, where they will honor the life and legacy of Pope Francis. Now, over the last 12 years, Pope Francis remembered as more of a progressive pontiff, shaking up the Catholic Church by taking a much more welcoming approach to LGBTQ inclusion in the Church, and he was the first Latin American Pope. Francis was a strong advocate for the rights of immigrants and refugees. Bishop Luis here, a fellow South American, was appointed by Pope Francis as the 6th bishop of the Diocese of Raleigh in 2017 and had some passings with him. Earlier this morning, Bishop Luis releasing a statement on behalf of the diocese, recalling those meetings he had with Pope Francis over the years, saying he was amazed how Pope Francis demonstrated that same humility and humanity in every interaction with every person he met. Now, again, he is scheduled to start that Mass here in just about 10 minutes here at Sacred Heart. Of course, we will bring you the latest from what he has to say during his homily of the man that appointed him to this position in Raleigh later this evening. In Raleigh, Sean Gallagher, WRAL News.
The timing of the Pope's death came as a surprise. His health appeared to be improving.
Just yesterday, he was driven around St. Peter's Square in an open-air Pope mobile to greet the crowds that were out there, all the faithful there for Easter. NBC's Claudio Lavagna has the reaction from the Vatican.
The announcement of Pope Francis's death early this morning came as a shock to Catholics around here, but also around the world. Tens of thousands of people were just here in St. Peter's Square only 24 hours ago following the Easter celebrations, and Pope Francis surprised everyone by appearing on that central balcony of St. Peter's Basilica unannounced to impart the blessing, to wish everyone happy Easter. He, of course, looked frail detail as he's done for the past few months, especially also after he left a hospital more than a month ago. But there were some signs that his health was recovering. He was not wearing those oxygen tubes in his nose anymore. He got on that Pope mobile to tour St. Peter's Square among the ecstatic crowd of pilgrims around here, and those were taken as signs that his health were improving. And only a few hours later, the Vatican announced that the Pope was dead. Now, what's going to happen next is in 2 days, the Pope will lie in state in St. Peter's Basilica, allowing the Catholics and pilgrims and everyone else who appreciated and loved the Pope to pay their last respects. Then in 4 to 6 days, we do expect a funeral for Pope Francis to take place here in St. Peter's Square. And then in 15 to 20 days from now, the conclave will take place. Of course, that is the process through which cardinals will have to elect a new pope. Shortly after that, on the same day, whenever we'll see white smoke coming out of the Sistine Chapel, the new pope will appear on the same balcony right there in St. Peter's Basilica, where just 24 hours ago Pope Francis wished everyone happy Easter to announce who the next pope is going to be. But we're not going to know that before 20 days from now, even longer perhaps. This is Claudio Lavanga for NBC News in the Vatican.
WRAL was there when Pope Francis was elected to the position.
5 ballots and the church has its new leader. This pope taking the name of Francis of Assisi.
David Crabtree brought us the news straight from the Vatican that day. He joins us in less than 10 minutes. Our coverage continues at 12:30 as well. Chelsea Donovan spoke with a Raleigh native who saw the Pope's final Palm Sunday appearance in person. And stay with WRAL online and on the air throughout the day for reaction and events locally and around the world.
The news we're following, we turn now to the forecast, and we have declared tomorrow a WRAL Weather Alert Day. Kat Campbell is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with a look at that timeline for possible wind damage, Kat.
And the timing is what you typically see as we head into the spring and summer months. It's primarily going to be during the afternoon through about sunset tomorrow evening. 2 to 8 p.m. will be the time frame to watch for winds perhaps gusting 40 to 60 miles per hour, and that could lead to some isolated wind damage. We also expect there to be at least some locations, not all, but some, that see impacts for the evening commute. It's a level 1 out of 5 severe weather threat tomorrow, so it's a more isolated severe threat. That means we could see a couple of warnings issued. I don't expect everybody in the green there under that level 1 risk to see severe weather, though. 8 a.m., you're off to a dry start for the morning commute, and we should be pretty dry through about lunchtime. Once we get to 2 o'clock, though, that's when the northwestern part of our area could start to see some scattered storms develop. This will all be ahead of a cold front. 5 o'clock, we still have some storms around for the evening commute, but not everybody is seeing them. Notice that by 8 o'clock, that chance would be east of our area for any strong storms. Coming up, we're not done with storm threats. After this, I'll show you just how much rain we could see this week. I know a lot of gardeners and those who are putting down grass seed need it.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, Sky 5 over a scene in Cumberland County. I want to show you what we're talking about here. You can see multiple fire trucks on scene, a lot of cars. There appears to be a pond here, perhaps some homes. We're working to figure out what's going on here, but we do see the fire truck spraying a lot of water just on the edge of the woods right there. You can see a team of people there. We're thinking this may be a death investigation. We did see a white sheet on the ground indicating that a body could possibly be at the scene. We're working to get as many details as we can. Right now, details are limited. The only information that we have is that fire trucks are here on scene. They are continuing to spray the edge of the woods. As soon as we learn what's going on here, we'll bring it to you from the Live Center.
We also have new details in just the last 2 hours about a deadly crash in Durham County. Now, the sheriff's office confirmed 3 people were killed. This was during a crash that happened while a deputy was trying to make a traffic stop. This video was taken by the WRAL Breaking News Tracker at about 8 o'clock last night in an area of North Roxborough Street and Ladder Road. Sheriff's office says a deputy was trying to pull over a Nissan Infiniti that was wanted in connection with an earlier call about shots fired. The Infiniti crossed the center line on North Roxborough Street and hit 2 other cars. The unidentified driver of the Infiniti died at the scene along with the passenger, Mercedes Toledo Goss. The driver of one of the other cars, Sandra Moore, also died at that scene. We're asking the Durham County Sheriff's Office about their chase policy, and we're working to learn more about exactly what happened leading up to last night's crash.
At least 4 people were taken to the hospital because of a wrong-way crash on US 70 in Selma yesterday. Witnesses say they saw law enforcement chasing the wrong-way driver at the time of the crash. Video from another witness shows Selma police officers surrounding a crashed car. We're working to learn more about what happened and the conditions of the people involved.
Authorities have arrested a man after they say he posted AI-generated photos of NC State students on a porn site. WRAL's Noah Klein is here with who it is and how this happened. Noah.
Jeff, Hayne Beard now facing 2 counts of misdemeanor stalking. Let's get you right to this new warrant right now, which says Beard posted photographic images of a victim in a collection of computer-generated pornographic photos, those AI images. It goes on to say Beard knew and should have known that this would cause someone to suffer some substantial emotional distress. The warrant specifically says these photos had titles listing the women as being in a sorority at NC State. Back in February, WRAL News reported on this happening with more than 30 women coming forward. At the time, the school's Office of Fraternity and Sorority Life told us they were supporting those students impacted. We have reached out to NC State Police to see if they're aware of this new warrant. They said they have no new information to share at this time.
Noah, thank you. Starting this morning at 8, a section of Barrel Road near I-440 in Raleigh will close. This is so crews can safely do bridge work along the Beltline. The closure is expected to last about a month.
Next at noon, former WRAL anchor David Crabtree remembers Pope Francis and reflects on his visit to the Vatican.
Also putting the brakes on production, the Ford recall affecting more than 100,000 vehicles.
Plus, temps ramp up all week. Instability enters the atmosphere tomorrow. The WRAL Weather Alert Day that's on the way.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.
The bells right there of St. Peter's Square tolling the news to the world this morning that Pope Francis has died.
WRAL was there when a puff of white smoke told the world in 2013 a new pope had been elected, Pope Francis. Former anchor David Crabtree covered that historic event for us, and he joins us now. David, I vividly remember seeing you outside the Vatican, photographer Keith Baker capturing that moment. Tell us what that moment was like.
Yeah, it was March 13th, 2013. We had been waiting. We had seen several days when black smoke appeared, meaning no election had happened. When we saw the white smoke, it gave me chills. It still does give me chills seeing that again, remembering that moment, hearing the bells begin to peal in St. Peter's Square, and then the crowds just rushing, jumping over barriers, doing anything they could to be a part of what was happening in St. Peter's Square. It was an amazing moment.
A memorable moment for sure. You were also there for Pope Francis's only official visit to the U.S. as Pope in 2015. What do you remember from that reception and what stood out to you?
2 things in particular, Renee. One, his address to Congress. It was a joint session, a special session of Congress. And he delivered that address in English, the entire address. It was amazing. The reception of members of Congress, whether they were Catholic, non-Catholic, whether they were Democrat, Republican, knew the moment that was happening before them. And then talking with members of our congressional delegation afterward, how excited they were to have been a part of that day. It was really a magical time in Washington and throughout the country. And then Keith and I also went on to follow the Pope in Philadelphia, where the crowds were just massive to see him. And it was not only the reality of those massive crowds that lined the streets for hours and hours just for a chance to get a glimpse of him as he drove by, but also the stories of watching him go to the prisons in and around Philadelphia, to meet with the marginalized, to meet with people who never expected to meet anyone of this stature, was quite humbling.
David, I know covering Pope Francis at the Vatican and his visit to the U.S. just rank among the most memorable moments of your career at WRAL. We thank you for sharing your perspective and your insights. Always good to see you, my friend.
Always good to see you. And thanks, Renee.
And here in the Live Center, so much lighter news at home. Some exciting news. Duke's Cooper flag is officially going to the NBA right now. On WRAL Sports fan page, we have it here. He declared for the NBA draft. He is likely to be the #1 pick. And of course, Duke men's basketball posting this to X saying league next, Duke forever. Flag is now the third Duke underclassman to declare for the draft. They have until April 26th to declare for the NBA draft. The lottery is then held on May 12th, and then the draft will begin on June 25th. So a big congratulations to him.
When your head coach is telling you have to go to the NBA, you're not coming back.
Yeah, no big surprise there. Beautiful skies out there, lots of sunshine, but noticing some very breezy conditions out there, Kat.
Absolutely. Hey, the wind feels pretty good in the heat that we've had lately. Feels good to have a nice little breeze. Taking a live look at our newer camera in Garner, the WRAL tower. Looking good out there today. A little bit of a hazy look to the sky. It's another warm one. 85 the high in Raleigh, 86 at the airport, 84 for Wake Forest, Rollsville, 85 in Garner, Holly Springs, Apex and Cary, and 84 in Clayton today. Tomorrow, the Canes are back at home, back on home ice. Puck drop is 6 o'clock, and we've got a chance for storms, so a heads up, it may not be the best day for tailgating. These are going to be very scattered storms, typical of what you would see in the summertime, where they could really pop up anywhere out ahead of a front, and post-game we'll still have a chance for some lingering rain sticking around. You do at least have a chance for rain for your garden this week. That chance about 40 to 60% over the next several days. Each day features a chance for scattered thunderstorms. Saturday may end up being the best chance because that's when we finally get a second front that comes through and moves this one on out of here. So here's what's going on. We've got this front that approaches. It'll bring some storms tomorrow, and then it just gets stuck and it hangs out nearby. We'll see scattered storms develop in our area each day because of this front getting stuck. Tomorrow morning, we're still dry. The front isn't here yet, but after lunchtime, the front arrives. We'll see scattered storms throughout the afternoon, and the threat for severe weather should die down after sunset. However, we could even see some rain overnight. By Wednesday, we'll have a chance for some showers and storms earlier in the day. Not the severe weather threat, though. Wednesday won't be quite as warm, and then those storms stick around with this front just hanging out for several more days. So keep the umbrella on hand. It's a good idea if you've got a small one to keep it in your car and your purse, maybe your kid's backpack. As for how much rain we could see, it's looking like the chances for ½ an inch to an inch are a little bit higher in the southern part of our viewing area, and it may be closer to a ½ inch to ½ an inch in the northern part of our area. And that's because the front gets stuck a little farther to the south. As for how much rain we could see tomorrow and Wednesday, we've got high resolution model data within these days, and most models are showing between about ½ inch and ½ an inch. Just keep in mind, if you do see one of the stronger thunderstorms like what the NAM model is showing, you could quickly see an inch of rain add up in the area. So we'll be watching that. There's going to be a lot of moisture for these thunderstorms to work with this week. It's going to be getting more humid, and you'll feel that increase in moisture. Tomorrow is a WRAL weather alert day due to the potential for some strong wind gusts and perhaps some hail within thunderstorms. It's also Earth Day tomorrow. Wednesday, another good chance for showers and storms, and then it's much of the same Thursday and Friday. Saturday may end up bringing our best chance for rain, and that's because the second cold front gets here. While it does mean more storm chances for the weekend, it'll finally push that front on out of here. So hopefully we can get a couple of drier days, and one of those in store for the weekend. Jeff and Renee.
Kat, thank you. Paying for emergencies. How much does the average American have in savings? PolitiFact checks former vice presidential candidate Tim Walz's claims today on WRAL News at 4.
Meanwhile, feeling the pinch while some prices have eased a bit at stores, many families are still struggling to make do. Today at 5:35, On Your Side shares expert-backed information to help you get the most value out of every dollar. And still ahead this noon, brake trouble. Ford recalling more than 120,000 cars for problems with the brakes. We'll have details on that.
And stock up on the SPF. Find out why you need sunscreen just as much today as you do at the height of summer. Ford is recalling several car models for braking issues and computer issues. More than 120,000 vehicles nationwide could have an issue with the brake master cylinder. Another 24,000 cars are facing a software issue with the powertrain control module. Affected models include certain 2017 and 2018 F-150s, Expeditions, and Lincoln Navigators, as well as 2024 and 2025 E-Transit chassis cab, 2024 Rangers, and 2024 Lincoln Nautilus vehicles. The markets were closed on Good Friday. Trading resumes on this Monday. And look at the Dow plummeting 1,000 points. At this hour, S&P 500 also down in the red, down 150 points. NASDAQ down 500 points. This as uncertainty over tariffs continues and President Trump renewing his online push to oust the Federal Reserve Chair, Jerome Powell.
Class is back in session at Florida State University this noon hour. This comes just 3 days after a shooting on campus there. It killed 2 people and injured 6 others. Some students and faculty say this is just too soon. The university says it is offering remote options and waiving mandatory attendance to allow students more time to process the tragedy. More than 1,000 people signed a petition demanding the university to allow students to work remotely. With breaking news we're following out of Texas, where a man just pleaded guilty to committing a mass shooting in a Walmart in 2019. Patrick Cruces just appeared before a judge at the top of the hour, and he worked out a plea agreement last month that took the death penalty off the table. And Cruces will spend his life in prison without parole. 23 people were killed in that shooting in August of 2019. About 24 more were injured.
2 lawsuits have been filed over the way insurance companies handled the aftermath of wildfires in California. Plaintiffs say they were victims of an illegal scheme to deny coverage to high-risk homeowners. They claim insurers conspired to limit competition and push them into the state's last resort option, the California FAIR Plan.
We have new video of some of the widespread damage in Missouri after severe weather pushed through that area. The city of Columbia has indefinitely suspended all recycling pickup after the storm damaged the city's recycling plant. No one was working at the time. The facility handles both commercial and residential recycling in Missouri.
Fellowship and faith. This is a live look inside the Sacred Heart Church in Raleigh, where Catholics are gathered to remember Pope Francis. Still ahead, the latest on when we could expect to see a new pope.
So a domino effect of the tariffs, how your favorite fast food joint could take a double hit from the economic policy. And here's a look at your winning NC Education lottery numbers on your screen. We'll be right back.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your #1 source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
Bring you back to this live look right now. This is Holy Name of Jesus Cathedral here in Raleigh, and Catholics here and around the world are now mourning the loss of Pope Francis. Coming in with that information just hours ago. Many of us learned the news of Pope Francis' passing this morning from WRAL News alerts on our phones.
Cardinal Timothy Dolan said even the College of Cardinals, the men who will elect the next pope, had a similar experience.
We got a text. See how modern that we used to get telegrams. We got a text announcing to the College of Cardinals that the Holy Father had passed over.
We continue to get updates out of the Vatican.
Our team coverage of the death of Pope Francis continues this noon, now with Michelle McConaughey in the WRAL Live Center.
Yeah, many around the world paying tribute after learning the news of his death this morning. The president has ordered all flags in the U.S. at half-staff. This is a live look at the White House right now, where you can see that flag is flying at half-staff in honor of Francis. We've also learned the UN Secretary General saying Francis leaves behind a legacy of faith, service, and compassion for all. Nancy Pelosi also commenting this afternoon, saying that his death is personally devastating, saying it was an honor to attend his installation in 2013 and to be in the House chamber during his historic address to Congress in 2013 as well. Of course, we will continue to monitor anything coming out and all these world leaders commenting. We'll have the latest from the Live Center.
And it was just 1 week ago the Pope was making headlines for what seemed to be improvements in his health. When he surprised the world with an appearance for Palm Sunday, a Raleigh native was lucky enough to be in the crowd.
Yeah, and WR's Chelsea Donovan spoke with her this morning to learn more about her story. Chelsea, one you already know pretty well because you know this person very well.
Yeah, Brooke Davis and I grew up together. We went to high school together. We were confirmed up in North Raleigh at St. Francis of Assisi. I've been seeing that she's there in Italy with her family and was sending me photos of attending Palm Sunday Mass. So she decided that she was going to take her entire family over there and really was witness to history and sort of a life-changing moment. Let's show you some of that video that she sent me earlier this morning. This is the Mass last Sunday at St. Peter's Square. Just 1 week ago, Brooke Davis took her family to Italy due to the fact for Catholics it is the year of the Jubilee. Every 25 years, that celebrates grace, renewal, and forgiveness. Obviously, a big milestone event in the Catholic faith. Now, Brooke told me they had to apply for tickets to the Mass a year in advance and got there hours and hours before Palm Sunday service. Surrounded by thousands of people all over the world, she described the moment when the pontiff was wheeled out in St. Peter's Square.
And then when he came out, it was a little bit like being at a concert, because you would see everyone just take their phones out and record and watch what he was going to do. And, my kids were just so excited. They was like, oh my gosh, he came. So everyone's just like, I can't believe he just came out.
Of course, a somber day for all of us in the Catholic community and beyond. We're here at this cathedral here off of Western Boulevard. We've seen a lot of people going in and out. The moment you walk in, you are greeted with a massive photo of Pope Francis, and you're seeing a lot of people, often with tears in their eyes, coming to pay their respects. Now, traditionally, in the Catholic faith, there is a 9-day mourning period, and then there will be the traditional funeral, 4 to 6 days coming up here after Pope Francis's death. So you'll hear more of Brooke's interview coming up in our later newscast. For now, we're live in Raleigh. Chelsea Donovan, WRAL News.
Chelsea, thanks for sharing that. St. Peter's Square will be a focus for the world's cameras for the next few weeks. First to mourn Pope Francis and then to pick his successor. Pope Francis will lie in state in St. Peter's Basilica for the public to pay their respects. That's expected to begin Wednesday. Then in 4 to 6 days, a funeral will be held using a shortened liturgy that Pope Francis specifically wrote for his own services. Only after all of this will the College of Cardinals meet for a conclave where they will elect a new pope. Given mourning and travel time, that will start between 2 and 3 weeks from today.
A Chapel Hill family got incredible news over the weekend. 5-year-old Hollis Lynn, who we told you about on Friday, finally has a liver donor match. Her condition is so rare, it doesn't even have an official medical name. Hollis's mom, Lindsay Lynn, says they are overjoyed, and now they're preparing for what comes next.
It's generally like a 8 to 10 hour surgery. So not sure how I'm gonna not go crazy during that time, but I'll do my best. We've been talking about a new liver since she could understand kind of what we were talking about. So she is excited for her new liver and somewhat understands that there will be some pain involved. There's no words to how grateful we are for the donor.
Life-changing news indeed. Hollis has a potential surgery scheduled for next Monday, and we hope it goes well. After stories like these, many of you reach out to us to ask, how can I help? Scan the QR code on your screen or go to the health section on WRAL.com. There you'll find our in-depth interview with Donate Life, answering commonly asked questions about what it means to become a donor and help many North Carolinians who are waiting for a transplant.
Talks with teachers, how Durham school leaders are listening to their concerns as they hammer out a budget.
Plus, remember the sunscreen. Meteorologist Chris Michaels explains why sunburn is actually quite common in April. Remember, you can watch WRAL News live anytime on WRAL.com or the WRAL app on your streaming device.
And happening right now in the WRAL Life Center, following some breaking news out of Orlando, Florida, after a Delta Airlines flight became engulfed in flames. Look at this video from our sister station there. You see the fire coming out of that plane. This was Delta Airlines Flight 1213, scheduled to go from Orlando to Atlanta. Video shows the smoke coming from the plane. Passengers had to use the emergency exit slides to actually get off of that plane. You see them there. They were removed that way. No injuries have been reported. The fire was reported coming out of a tailpipe of one of the aircraft's two engines. Maintenance teams are now working to examine the aircraft. Again, no injuries have been reported at this time. Everybody was safely removed from that plane. Delta says they are working to bring additional aircraft to get all of those passengers to their correct destination.
So many plane problems lately. Thanks, Michelle. Discussion tonight on Durham will focus on the top priorities for the school system. The Durham Association of Educators is advocating for teachers and staff amid a $7 million budget shortfall for the system. The group will meet with school leaders tonight, and topics will include budget transparency, pay, transportation, protecting immigrant families from ICE, and protecting the jobs of frontline staff, among other things. The public meeting starts at 6 tonight in the Durham Public Schools Staff Development Center.
Our county-by-county coverage takes us to Person, Harnett, and Sampson counties. The Person County School Board voted to redraw the districts for 4 elementary schools: South, Helena, North End, and Stories Creek. The board says the move was needed to accommodate growth in the southern part of the county.
Harnett County, meantime, want your input on the county's Parks and Rec Department. An online survey takes about 5 minutes and asks how you use the parks and what you'd like to see change there. There's a link on the county's website. It is open until April 30th.
The Sampson County Convention and Visitors Bureau is preparing for the next round of tourism grants. The Capital Grant Program supports nonprofits working to bring visitors to the county. The rules have changed a bit. For example, murals are not covered this year. Applications must be postmarked no later than July 31st.
Well, don't forget that sunscreen these days. April may not seem like the time to be thinking about SPF, but you can get sunburned very easily. Find out why it's just as hard on your skin as it is at the height of summer.
And rain on the horizon. Meteorologist Kat Campbell is back with a look at what we could see today and the threat of severe weather tomorrow. Middle school students showing up for class high. Now a vape shop owner faces charges for selling illegal products right next to school grounds. WRAL Investigates Sarah Kruger is live with a preview of a story airing tonight. Sarah.
Renee, vape shops are popping up seemingly all over the place. There's an incident about 15 miles here. The call for oversight is getting louder. We're talking about middle school students showing up to class high. They told school leaders they visited a vape shop across from the middle school in Butner. So undercover agents went to that Granville County store, bought products, and had them tested. They were all much closer to marijuana than allowed by law.
The store owner, I think, it possibly need to be not let him sell that stuff that close to the school. 18 years is legal by bites or something like this, but the little ones, it's not good. It's bad.
And those are the same types of products WRAL Investigates previously bought at several stores in the Raleigh area and had tested. They're supposed to be products from hemp with low levels of THC, the active ingredient found in marijuana. But in our investigation, about 80% of the products we bought were illegal. The question we posed then and now to lawmakers is what is being done to make sure these products are better regulated. Tonight at 6, we'll hear about one of several possible solutions that is now on the table with the primary goal of keeping our children safe. Sarah Kruger, WRAL News, live in Durham.
Something parents will definitely want to watch. Sarah, thank you.
So far, we've seen one of the warmest Aprils on record, which means you're probably outside a little more often, and that could lead to more sunburn. Meteorologist Chris Michaels explains why sunburn is unexpected, maybe, but common this time of year.
I don't know about you guys, but yeah, I'm more likely to wear sunscreen in August than April. But this time of year, the UV index is still very high, meaning all it takes is 15 to 20 minutes for sunburn to settle in. This time of year, the peak sun angle, 61 degrees above the horizon. So put that in perspective with some other months. Now, June, the summer solstice, the sun is at its highest. Around noon, it's 77 degrees above the horizon. Obviously, in the wintertime, the sun is much lower than that. But in April, the sun is about as high in the sky as it would be during the month of August, so about as strong as the sun would be by then. Again, I'm more often going to put on the sunscreen in the summer, but now is a good time to start doing that as well. And we're getting to that time of year where the sunsets especially are getting later. By next Tuesday, the sun officially sets at 8 p.m., and it will continue to do so up until August the 23rd. If there's ever anything that you want us to dig deeper into in the weather world, you can go to WRAL.com and search Ask the Meteorologist.
Chris, thanks. You know, for women, we have a little bit of an advantage in that, like moisturizer makeup has SPF built in. But, you know, it's a good point. If you're walking outside, shorts and T-shirt weather, you know, put on that sunscreen, even in April.
I agree. April, you just don't think about it as much.
All day, every day for me, but
Yeah.
I quickly lobster in the sun, so it's definitely a good idea to do that. 79 degrees out there right now, mostly cloudy skies, our southwest wind around 15 miles per hour. So it's a bit breezy, but that breeze feels good. It's warm. It's definitely feeling more muggy today as well, so the breeze really helps things out. If you do want to come visit the WRAL Gardens, check out the expansion. It's on the western side of the garden. When you're facing the sign, go to the left and towards Centennial Campus. Temperatures will be in the mid-80s. By 3 o'clock, we're back up to 84 degrees. Tonight, some cool stuff to see in the sky. However, I do want to let you know the Lyrid meteor shower should be at best viewing tonight. However, we've got the clouds around, so we'll see a lot of mid to upper level clouds. It's not an overcast sky, but you're going to have to look in between the clouds to see it. And if you look to the east tonight at 8:48 p.m., there will be a vapor trail from the SpaceX launch. Again, there's going to be some cloud cover in the way. This time, look to the east. Lyrid meteors can be pretty much anywhere in the sky, but let us know if you see them. Go to WRAL.com and search Report It to submit your pictures. High pressure is offshore. It's going to keep moving away from us, though. We still have the warm south wind behind it, but as high pressure weakens and kind of falls apart, the cold front gets here and it gets stuck this week. That's the key to the forecast. Starting tomorrow with this cold front, we're going to see a daily chance for some thunderstorms. These are going to be a lot like a summertime setup, so it's scattered storms, mainly afternoon and evening storms expected. Slow movers, they could have some heavy rain. Tomorrow in particular, there will be a severe weather threat with some damaging wind and hail possible, but it's not going to be a widespread threat for us. And we'll keep in the chance for storms until another cold front finally comes in and pushes that away. 79 right now in the triangle, the dew point 56. So that number on the right there, that's key to just how humid it feels out. Clinton, your dew point 62. Really feeling like summer there. It gets more humid from here and it stays pretty muggy. We'll be in the steamy category on the muggy meter for several days up until that second cold front gets here Saturday. That'll finally push the cold front that gets stuck out of the way, and we see the humidity drop by Sunday and big improvements likely for the second half of the weekend. It's going to stay warm despite the clouds and the storm chances each day. Highs are in the upper 70s to even mid 80s. Low temperatures all week long are going to be in the 60s, so you really shouldn't even need your jackets as you head out the door in the morning. Very warm weather, very June-like pattern for us with highs in the 80s, lows in the 60s, and daily storm chances. Because of tomorrow's level 1 out of 5 severe weather threat, it is a WRAL weather alert day. Wednesday, one difference, there could actually be some lingering rain around in the morning, but the greater threat for storms Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday will be in the afternoon and evening. Saturday is our best chance for rain, a 60% chance, and once that cold front gets here, it should push the other one. That'll be a pesky one finally out of the way.
Thanks, Kat. A direct hit to the menu. Fast food restaurants could take an unexpected hit from tariffs. Next at noon, 2 items that could cost you more in the coming months.
Yeah, live look outside St. Peter's Square there at the Vatican at 12:53 our time here. Evening time there, and earlier in the day, this square was empty. So folks gathering there, coming to pay their respects, hearing the bells toll for the Pope. And as we wrap things up, we have a look at a few of the headlines that we're following for you today.
Pope Francis has died. Some Catholics here in Raleigh are marking the Pope's passing by attending a noon mass that will speak to the Pope's life and legacy. As the first Latin American Pope, Pope Francis was a strong advocate for the rights of immigrants and refugees. Bishop Luis Zarama, a fellow South American, was appointed by Pope Francis as the 6th bishop of the Diocese of Raleigh in 2017.
4 people were taken to the hospital because of a wrong-way crash on US 70 in Selma yesterday. Witnesses say they saw law enforcement chasing the wrong-way driver at the time of the crash. Video from another witness shows Selma police officers surrounding a crashed car. We are working to learn more about what happened and the conditions of the people involved.
Authorities have arrested a man after they say he posted AI-generated photos of NC State students on a porn site. Hayne Beard is facing 2 counts of misdemeanor stalking. A new warrant specifically says these photos had titles listing the women as being in a sorority at NC State. In February, WRAL reported on this happening, with more than 30 women coming forward.
Tariffs could soon hit one of America's favorite side dishes, French fries. While most of the potatoes used in French fries comes from the U.S., the canola oil they are fried in likely isn't. About 70% of canola oil used in the U.S. is imported. Nearly all of that comes from Canada. You can also see an impact on the canola oil you buy in the grocery store.
Tariffs could also spark the next chapter in the cola wars. The Wall Street Journal reports an unexpected battle between Coke and Pepsi because of where their concentrates are made. Pepsi makes them in Ireland, meaning they are subject to a 10% tariff when they're brought back to the U.S. Coca-Cola makes its concentrates for U.S. use in Atlanta and Puerto Rico, so they are less at risk for a price hike. Both companies could be hit by the 25% tariffs on aluminum for its cans. A post from the Atlanta airport has sparked a nationwide search for a child stuffed animal. It reads, "This little otter took a wrong turn at baggage claim and is now looking for the way home." The airport is asking for the public's help to reunite the stuffed animal with its owner, and they even attach photos of the stuffed otter. So cute.
Finds his way. Firefighters in Raleigh rescued a dog from a drain this weekend. They helped rescue Dagger, the dog who had fallen about 15 feet down into a storm drain. Dagger was reunited with his family after he was pulled up right there, and he's doing okay.
Enjoy today's calm weather. Tomorrow, we're expecting some rain to move in, as tomorrow is a WRAL weather alert day.
Yeah, we have NBC News Daily headed your way next on WRAL, your next local news update in 30 minutes.
You can get breaking news updates anytime with our WRAL News app. Have a great day.
WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.